Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know a couple things before I get into this review. Because I don't have a 3DS capture card, I had to resort to a somewhat hacky method to record this review. So basically you'll notice that the quality isn't super great. The frame rate is also pretty crap. I just wanted to detail all this because the actual game looks a lot better than this. It's a lot smoother. If you want to help me get an actual capture card for 3DS game reviews in the future, consider checking out my Patreon to help me reach that goal. Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia is a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, which originally came out for the Famicom in 1992 as a sequel to the original Fire Emblem. Echoes isn't a straight remake, however, as many changes have been made. It does, however, mark the first time this game has been released outside of Japan. The story of Fire Emblem Echoes is par for the course as far as this series goes, although it's slightly different in that you play as two separate characters. Our two heroes for this adventure are Alm and Celica, two kids that grew up together in the peaceful village of Bram until a war engulfs the entire continent and quickly engulfs them in it. Because of plot reasons, both characters are split up, and you will spend most of the game controlling two separate armies. This was an aspect of the game I really liked. If I got stuck at any point on one character, I could switch to the other for a while before giving it another shot. I also didn't have to shuffle a huge cast around in one army, as the split allows you to play all of the characters throughout most of the game. Another positive aspect of the game is how they kept in the casual mode from Fire Emblem Awakening. Sure, the real way to play Fire Emblem is with permadeath on, but sometimes I want to just play through the game without constantly saves coming due to idiotic decisions of mine, okay? Of course, if you do want to play with permadeath on, the developers have added a nice little bonus, the turn wheel. As you play through the game, you will come across gears which add uses to this turn wheel. And what does it do exactly? If you use it during a battle, it turns back time, allowing you to redo a turn if you screwed up and got someone killed. Pretty spiffy. No matter which difficulty level you choose, you're probably going to be looking at using that wheel, because here comes some of the negative changes to the gameplay. Two of these changes go hand in hand, and they are the 3D exploration sequences and the stamina system. I've heard people say that they'd like Fire Emblem better if it had dungeons like other RPGs, and I've always thought that those people are crazy. Fire Emblem is a purely turn-based tactics game and never needed dungeons, and I'd say Fire Emblem Echoes proves my point. Exploring is done in a 3D third-person view, but whenever you run into enemies, it changes back into the regular turn-based system. The developers have also added the stamina system from Thracia into the mix, so the more you fight in dungeons, the more tired your characters become. Once they become fatigued, their HP is halved and their stats go down. And the only way to fix this effect is to use an item, find a shrine and offer an item up to cure everyone, or leave the dungeon. The worst part about this is that it feels entirely superfluous. The dungeons are pretty empty for the most part, and quite ugly due to the 3DS's limitations, and just serve to pad out the game's length more than anything. The stamina system really adds to how annoying the longer ones are too. Some characters will become fatigued after maybe 3 fights, so you have to drag your ass outside again, or hope to find a shrine before they get killed. Wow, such fun, much gameplay. At the very least, the developers decided to drop the weapon durability system here. Weapons no longer break, but instead can be upgraded at a blacksmith. Magic tomes also don't break anymore, but they cause another penalty to occur instead. Each spell will take a set number of HP from the caster every time they use it. While it does take a bit of extra thought from time to time, this way of doing things is way better. I can't even imagine having weapons breaking on top of all the other crap I mentioned before. Besides these changes, the core gameplay of this title remains true to the rest of the series, with every character being limited to one action per turn. Perhaps the developers mixed up the gameplay so much because they realize how old school this game is at its heart. But honestly, the reason I play Fire Emblem games is for its old school turn-based action. Don't fix it, it ain't broken, guys. Going back to the drab dungeons, the graphics in Fire Emblem Echoes are kind of bland in general. The character sprites are colorful, as is standard in the series, but everything else has a somewhat brownish tinge. Even the character portraits feel a bit drab when put into this setting, as their watercolor look doesn't really stand out that much. The Fire Emblem mobile game that came out around the same time really puts the look of this game to shame with its bright, colorful graphics and amazing looking character portraits. Yeah, it's kinda sad that a free-to-play mobile game looks better than a full-fledged release, but here we are. There are some really nicely animated 3D sequences, just like Awakening had though. The music and sound of Fire Emblem Echoes is nice, although I don't really enjoy the full voice acting. I know this is really just a pet peeve of mine, but I really don't like it when games like this have almost every line voiced. It feels like overkill, and I often mute the sound because it really starts to annoy me. Perhaps I'm just too used to most of this series having little or no voice acting? I don't know. All I know is that while the acting is competent, I just don't like having so much of it. Now, the music is something that I definitely really enjoyed. Fire Emblem games typically have great soundtracks, and this one is no exception. Every track fits the scene, and the major ones all have an epic quality to them that lends a lot to the experience. As is the case for many great soundtracks, this one is very listenable all on its own. Even if you're not that interested in the game, I'd recommend checking out the soundtrack anyway. After all of this, I'm thinking it probably sounds like I didn't like Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, but that isn't the truth. The addition of the annoying dungeon crawling and stamina systems definitely hurt this title, but I still had a great time with it. The core Fire Emblem gameplay is still there, and that will always be something I enjoy. This one is definitely down the list as far as Fire Emblem games go, but it's still worth checking out if you're a fan of the series, or you're needing a new turn-based tactics game to get into. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my review. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments below. Or hey, if you didn't like it, comment below. Remember to like and subscribe, and check back for even more review videos.